If you making way more than she is, you can't be expecting her to match you 50-50. Because
right.
like, it's just not realistic. Why you got all that money, you ain't using it, you know?
Exactly. Who should pay more in a relationship?
Whoever got the most money.
Okay. So if you'd like to support this channel, for the hard work that we're putting in it, be part of this growing group. Do you think men and women are equal?
No, because the way society functions, it's a male-dominant society, and so kind of automatically they're put ahead, and that places women in an unfair situation. But I think these days we're trying to get ahead, but like there's things like the wage gap between men and women, and just the I don't know if you heard, 97% of women, have been sexually assaulted, and that's just kind of a scary number to think about. So I really just don't think there's any equality in like the workspace or just being in society in general.
I do think they should be equal for society right now. I don't think we are. And I think along with people who identify as non-binary or trans, it makes things a lot harder. And just, I think that in the future we could see more legislation that changes that.
I think they should be equal. Obviously, we can still see in today's society, like, I feel like men still have more advantages than women, but I feel like we're still kind of working towards being seen as equals as women are.
In a lot of ways we are equal, but there's also, I think, some ways we could be doing better.
How is money important in a relationship? Or is money important in a relationship?
I think so. If you have, a certain amount of wealth, then it makes, it easier on you and your significant other, I guess. That's kind of why.
Sometimes it can be effective. Have an effect. But I don't think I worry about it too much.
Yes.
Why?
Well,
That
because
was a good answer, actually.
if I feel like it can make put a toll on the relationship, put a strain on the relationship if one person's contributing more than the other one. So it just kind of, if you both have an equal or as close to equal as possible contribution, then it takes a lot of stress off of that relationship.
Is money important in a relationship?
Oh, okay. Like, is it important that your boyfriend's rich? It really depends on the person, because it kind of can be. Because it's definitely a reason to get into a relationship, and if you don't have money, then that's an issue.
I don't think it's necessarily important, but I think it's important that one person's not dependent on another.
Yeah.
Unless you're pretty far into a relationship, I guess.
I think it's fine to use people for money as long as they know they're being used. So I think it's important in that context, but obviously you shouldn't use people for money. I also don't think that's kind of dangerous, because men like to hold that above women's heads. So it's just don't.
So women should be independent.
Yeah, yeah.
Regardless.
Right.
I think it's circumstantial. I think if a woman wants to be dependent on her husband, that's fine. But if a woman wants to be independent, that's also fine.
Points. That's points.
Cool. Do you believe in having equal contribution in a relationship?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that even if it's not financial equal contribution, there's a level of the effort that you put in, or tasks and all that. So
Why do you believe that?
I think that it takes two people to make it work out, and if one person is doing everything and the other one's just sitting on their ass all the time, then it's not going to go well. And there's a lot of ways to do that.
If it's not a two-way street, then what's the point of it? It's not that hard, because that's the kind of relationships I've been in. I've never been the big money maker, but I've always been able to somehow make them happy. And anyways, just get creative.
I just want somebody who can not put everything on me, so yes.
Cool. Why is money important in a relationship?
Money is how you live. You know what I mean? You can't really live without money.
Money is life.
Yeah, real shit.
People say you can't buy happiness, but if you give me $1 million, I'll be fucking happy.
Yeah, from them. What they said, and plus, that's just every way. That's the way you gonna live. You can't live without no money. If you making way more than she is, you can't be expecting her to match you 50-50. Because
right.
it's just not realistic. Why you got all that money, you ain't using it,
Exactly. Who should pay more in a relationship?
Whoever got the most money.
Generally, whether you have the money or not, who should have a lot of contribution to the family?
Can't be just one person putting in all the work.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I started taking creatine.
One time I was walking home from an event and I fell into the bushes on the side of Stadium Boulevard.
When I was in 7th grade, I took a shit in my cat's litter box.
One time, I told all my teachers I was sick just so I wouldn't have to go to class that day.
One time when I was in middle school, I was getting off the bus and there was the whole school right there in front of me, and I slipped and fell on ice in front of like 200 kids.
On my first Wednesday at the dorm, I sliced the shit out of my foot and the paramedics had to show up.
One day I told my teacher I was sick, but I wasn't.
One time in 7th grade, I threw up in my band class of like 50 kids.
When it's really hot out, I get a lot of ass sweat, and it's very noticeable, but I like it.
When my parents were at home one day, I invited my boyfriend to come over, and then they came home and saw him in my room.
I came home drunk one night and I peed in between my washer and dryer.
Every time a guy asks for my Snapchat, I give them my friend's Snapchat.
My pants fell off when I jumped into the pool as a kid.
I went to the wrong house to ask a girl to homecoming.
Before Mount Everest was discovered, what used to be the tallest mountain in the world?
Mount Everest.
Correct.
Oh.
Before Mount Everest was discovered, what used to be the tallest mountain in the world back then?
Kilimanjaro.
Damn, I was gonna say Kilimanjaro. Yeah, Kilimanjaro.
I believe you guys know the tallest mountain in the world currently.
Mount Everest.
Cool. Correct. And before Mount Everest was discovered to be the tallest mountain, what used to be the tallest mountain in the world?
Kilimanjaro.
Mount Everest.
Correct.
Oh, shit. Okay, I see.
If 8 plus 5 is 12, what is 5 plus 8?
12.
What?
13, man.
Oh wait, 13 is correct. If 8 plus 5 is 12, what is 5 plus 8?
12.
13.
Oh wait, correct. It's actually right.
That's why
If 8 plus 5 is 12, what is 5 plus 8?
13.
Correct. It's actually not 12.
I was like, it's 13.
Shit, I'm on guard now.
Spell mop.
Mop.
Mop, yeah.
M-O-P.
Spell top.
T-O-P.
Spell cop.
C-O-P.
Say cop 3 times.
Cop.
What do you do when a traffic light's turn green?
Stop.
Oh, it worked. I knew something was happening too.
Yeah. Spell mop.
M-O-P.
Spell top.
T-O-P.
Spell cop 3 times.
C-O-P, C-O-P, C-O-P.
Say cop 3 times.
Cop.
What do you do when the traffic light turns green?
Stop.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Oh, when it's... Oh!
So how many countries does the US have?
One country.
Oh, correct. How many countries does the United States have?
0.
Yeah, I mean, one country, I mean.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The United States?
That's correct. It's a trick question. The last question, but how many countries are there in the US?
50. One.
It's one country.
God
damn
it. He said one.
I don't go here.
What is the most common gas found in the atmosphere?
I think is it oxygen, nitrogen.
Try again.
I haven't taken a science class in a long time.
That'd be nitrogen.
Oh no!
A few moments later.
Oxygen. That's gonna be wrong. This is so embarrassing for me.
Just do your best guess.
Either oxygen or nitrogen. I'm going with nitrogen. I have no idea.
I'm
not into science.
No problem. What's the third planet from the sun?
Also, could
Third.
probably not figure that out.
What's the third planet from the sun?
There's Mercury. Oh, Earth.
Correct. What's the third planet from the sun?
Earth, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth. Okay.
It's Earth.
What's the third planet from the sun?
The Earth.
What's the third planet from the sun?
Mars. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. What is the formula to find the perimeter of a triangle?
I honestly could not tell you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What is the third planet from the sun?
The planet Mars.
It's actually Earth. But yeah. All right. So, what is the formula for the perimeter of a triangle?
Perimeter triangle. Perimeter triangle.
Don't overthink it.
LB.
So
LBH.
Well, so it'd just be. I think you're maybe thinking area.
Perimeter triangle. LBH. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. It's just A plus B plus C, sort of like you just add all the sides.
What is the formula to find the perimeter of a triangle?
The perimeter? You do. Is it. Area is base times height times half. Perimeter. I mean, you add up all the three sides, but.
So basically, it's.
So it's like. I really couldn't tell you. You add up all three sides, that's how I would say it.
Okay, let me give you the answer. It's A plus B plus C. Basically, add up all the sides.
That's what I said.
Yeah. What type of scientist studies motion?
It's physics?
Physicists.
Yeah. So, what type of scientist studies motion?
Physicist.
Okay. What type of scientist studies motion?
What?
What type of scientist studies motion?
Motion? It's like. Is it like. Well, it's like physics, probably. I feel so stupid right now.
You're doing pretty good.
Really? I don't think so. Motion scientist? I don't know, like physician?
Yeah, physicists.
Oh, okay.
Correct. What type of scientist studies motion?
It's physics?
Physicists. Yeah. What year was slavery abolished in the U.S.?
Oh, hell. 1800s. I don't know the exact year.
Okay.
Mid 1800s.
You did pretty good. Good job.
And what year was slavery abolished in the U.S.?
Shoot. That would be. Let's see, 18. It's in the 1800s. I want to say. Let's go with 1850.
Okay.
That's
So
somewhere
it was 1865. But
what year was slavery abolished in the U.S.?
1870 something. 1870s. I don't think that's right.
Your best guess.
1870. That's my best guess.
So that was 1865.
Okay.
Formula to find the perimeter of a triangle. What is the formula to find the perimeter of a triangle?
Isn't that the Pythagorean theorem? Or that's for something else, but that has to do with triangles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the? Should I just?
It's actually add up all the sides. A plus B plus C equals B. Okay, what type of scientist studies motion?
I didn't look at that. I didn't see it. Scientist that does motion, studies motion. Maybe something to do with no idea. Physics?
Oh, correct.
Physicist?
You got it. Okay, last question. What year was slavery abolished in the U.S.?
Ooh, probably 1800 something. 1860.
A little more.
5.
Correct.
Really?
Got it, yeah.
I totally just
Violence inherent to humans.
So I don't think humans are inherently violent. I do think humans are inherently bad, though. I think we have a lot of sin nature. I'm a Christian, and so I believe humans are born honestly with a nature to do wrong, and we have to work against that. We naturally want to lie when we're in trouble. We naturally want to do things that benefit us, and I think that's a selfish nature. And so I think humans are not necessarily born violent, because I have a lot of bad tendencies. I want to be selfish. I want things to go my way. But I don't think I'm violent. I don't think humans are naturally violent. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Great answer.
I think that's a tough question.
Inherent to humans.
I think what's inherent is our ability to learn our own traits, and that's developed over time. Whether or not that's born with someone, I don't know. I think that some people are just developed that way, they develop over time and start to grow those traits. And I think that some people have more motivation in their lives than others and stuff like that.
Is violence inherent to humans?
I mean, I think that people are born naturally to not be violent people, but it kind of depends on where you grow up, I feel kind of your environment, nature versus nurture type of thing, whether or not you grow up with the values of being able to handle stuff peacefully.
I don't think so. I think that violence is taught, and it depends on where, what type of environment you grew up in, and what you saw when growing up, and the people you surround yourself with all the time.
I don't think so. I think everyone, it runs in the family, of course, how you're raised, but I think everybody has equal opportunities, not necessarily with their environments, but when they're born, they kind of can develop themselves, but it is dependent on their environment, too, in which they come up in.
Cool. So you think that those kids who grow up with one parent grow up to be inferior to those with two parents?
Not at all. I think that it's dependent on the parent. Children are typically limited to how their parent raises them, but some single parents are a lot better than two parents.
I don't think so. I think that violence is taught, and it depends on where, what type of environment you grew up in, and what you saw when growing up, and the people you surround yourself with all the time.
Are some people born to be bad and others good?
No.
So it's not inherent?
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that. I think it's more of a way people were raised. If they're raised with abusive parents, most likely they're abusive. If they're raised with super nice parents, odds are they're not going to be abusive.
But sometimes you feel you see some kids, even though they have good parents, they just want to fight and all that. Do you think that is not inherent?
Well, a lot of it, at least from my point of view of things I've seen, is they hang out with the wrong crowd, and the wrong crowd, it happens to be violent. They try to follow their order or follow that trend, and then it just kind of eventually wears them, and they become that person who turns to be violent.
Can divorce harm children?
Can divorce harm children? Yeah. Yeah, it can.
Yes, it can. It can make a mental toll on you pretty drastically. I know a kid who actually had divorced parents, and it took him out, and he went through a pretty hard time of depression, and he had to get pulled out of it, and it was a rough time for him.
Do you think that those kids who are raised with one parent or with no parents are inferior to those with both parents?
No.
No, I don't think that's true.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. My mom's actually a counseling major, and we were talking about divorce the other day. My parents are married, but she was telling me about how divorce, like you look at girls who end up in abusive relationships, it's probably because they had familial issues at home. They either had a bad relationship with their dad, which can come from divorce. But if you look at the statistics of teen pregnancies and all that stuff, it comes from bad relationships with their parents and family divorce, which one causes the other. So sometimes relationships can be strained because of divorce, and that causes a lot of issues as girls grow up, and it can even cause issues in guys. But if you look at the statistics, divorce does cause a lot of issues.
So do you think that children who grow up with both parents grow better than those without parents or with one parent?
So I think it depends on the situation. I'm not going to bash single parents. I have a lot of respect for women who leave abusive men, and honestly vice versa. And so I'm not going to say that somebody with one mom is going to have a worse life than I have with two parents.
I mean,
but
that's
if there are two healthy parents in the home, I honestly think that can create a more stable environment than one, because two is better than one. But I do think, on the other hand, that like if it was an abusive relationship and the mom or dad left an unhealthy partner, that would be traumatizing towards the kid. Then I think that it's great, and they should have done that, and that was really a smart and wise decision, and applaud to them.
I think it can, depending on how it's handled. I think, if two people aren't in love anymore, then they shouldn't stay together just for the sake of it. But I think it just depends on how it's handled and how it's related to the kids in that sense.
Do you think that children who grow up with both parents are grow up way much better than those without parents?
I think single parents can do just as good a job as any parents that are in a relationship, a stable relationship. It's better to grow up with one solid parent than to go throughout life with parents that argue in front of you all the time and stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yes, I think divorce is, I don't know, I feel like in most cases it's pretty detrimental to like family dynamics and how like children interact with their parents and each other. I wouldn't say they grow up to be better, no. I think being successful depends on, your own like personal definition and motivation and what you find is being good, so I wouldn't say that there's like a better or worse option.
So just based on like what I've seen, I think so, like emotionally, yeah, I would say so.
Come close.
Okay.
And do you think that the kids who are born with one parent or no parents are inferior to those born to those who have two parents?
No, I don't think they're inferior. I think that they have a different experience, but I wouldn't say that that makes them inferior.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
No, to be honest, no. I do feel they have rights, like they have like human rights.
They
obviously.
can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but
it's not
like if you ask me to like come out, I'm like no.
So you don't think it's right?
Because it goes against my religion in several ways. Yeah. So like the whole I think about this a lot. So like the whole transgender thing. Yeah. So you're saying like you're a woman born into a man's body. Mm-hmm. So you're practically saying like my God is wrong for creating you the way it is. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of complicated, but like to answer your question, no.
I support it due to my majority of my cousins actually being gay or transgender, so I kind of grew up around that. Yeah. So I just kind of end up learning to just respect it, and whatever they want to be, that's what they want to be.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
Pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
So you support abortion?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily support it, but I'm not going to basically force a kid on a girl that doesn't want a child. So.
Do you think that men and women are equal?
Probably say no.
And how's today's standard working? Probably not. Should it be? Yes. but
Do you
it's
think they
just
should be equal?
I believe so, but that's just not how it seems to be working in a lot of today's jobs. It seems like so it's kind of that's why there's so many protests about it lately.
Yeah. So talking about the abortion and stuff, do you think that men have a say or should have a say in the abortion part? Because once the lady has a child, then the man has to pay for child support, whether he wants it or not. There is no equality in that, but most ladies tend to say that there is equality. So, what is your opinion about that? Do you think that men should have a say in that part of abortion?
Yeah, I mean it took two to make, so should take two to decide. Except the lady wants to be a single parent, or the dude wants to be a single parent. Then
I believe it takes a big effect on it.
Yeah.
I think it should matter, but for the majority of the time, it is the woman who's going to end up having the baby. But a guy should have somewhat of a say on it. I grew up with a family with like, if it's your fault for getting the girl pregnant, first fault, you got to take responsibility for that. So if that's my fault to do to begin with, I'll have to take responsibility for it. I'll have to pay end up probably paying child care for that, but that was my fault to get into to begin with. So that's why I just wrap it up.
Cool. So, just deal with your consequences. That's what you mean, like deal with your consequences.
If you're the reason you're on that prominent to begin with, then it's your fault. If you didn't want a child at the age of, let's say 16, I'm not 16, but like say 16, you don't want a child at that age, just don't do it raw. Just don't get the girl pregnant to begin with, and you won't have that problem. But
So that shows me that men and women can never be equal in all aspects. Is that right? Even if they are striving to be equal, they can never be equal. Is that a good conclusion?
yeah, I'm just being blunt here, but yeah,
Alright.
it depends. Like guys, let's say working out naturally gonna be bigger. Sports jobs are naturally gonna be bigger with guys. It's just how it is. But the workforce, I believe that could be equal on both sides. It's just how it works.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
What do you mean by support? So I'm a Christian, so I honestly do believe in my religion that being gay is wrong. Do I have friends who are gay? Yes. Am I going to think of them any differently? No. Just because that is not what I believe does not mean that I don't love them, that I do not support them, that I do not want rights for them. Do I think that they should be hated on? Do I think that they should have? No, absolutely not. But do I believe in my religion that is right? No. Will that cause me any indifference towards or cause me any what's that called, bias towards them? Absolutely not. It's a lifestyle choice that they've chosen, and absolutely go for it.
But you don't think that it's right?
No, I do not.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I am pro-life.
Yes, sir.
And are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
Do you support the LGBTQ community?
Yes, I'm gay, so I
Oh, really?
fall
Okay.
into that community.
And are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I would rather not have a say in that matter. I feel like that's kind of your own personal belief, and I don't like to pick a side on that one just because I have never been in that position. I'm not going to have to ever be in that position whether or not I choose to carry a child, so I just don't think I should have a say in that.
I do. I think that be whoever you want to be. Don't pay attention to who people want you to be. Do whatever you want. Make yourself happy.
That's cool. Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I don't really have a stance on that.
Okay.
I think to each their own.
Say that.
Yeah, to each their own. I'm not a woman, so I don't think I should choose what goes on with the woman's body. But, for those women who are in power, whatever they, decide, whatever, I think it should be based on the people's opinion.
Do you think men and women are equal?
I do. I think that there's some women that are very powerful in the world, and they can outpower some men in the world, and vice versa.
In terms of abortion.
Yeah, I think most women should have a lot more of a say than men because it can go both ways. But at the end of the day, it's not my body. It's not for me to choose what someone else does. So.
Yes, I do.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I am pro-choice.
So you would abort a baby?
I think that the option for people to abort babies should be available. I don't know if I personally would. I don't know.
So that means you're pro-life.
No, I don't think it does.
Okay. And do you think men and women are equal?
No.
In terms of the abortion stuff, most women have a say in that. And do you think men or women have an advantage in those types of situations?
In what situations?
Like when you say they're not equal, who do you think has the advantage?
Oh, I think men do. I think it should be equal, but I think that right now men still have the advantage in a lot of ways.
But women want to be equal to men, right?
Yeah, and they should be, yeah.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
Then who should have a say in the abortion part, men or women? Or should they both have a say in that?
I would say women should, because we're the ones having the babies.
I mean, once you have the baby, then the guy has all the responsibility, most of the responsibility. I would say.
Most of it? I don't know.
Some of the responsibilities.
I don't know.
So do you think? I don't think there is.
Yeah, but it's our bodies. I think if it's our bodies and we're the ones giving birth, I think we should have more say.
And do you think most men agree with that?
Probably not, but I don't know.
So what are your opinions about abortion?
I'm pro-choice, so I think it's a little, obviously it's hard to be like morally gray, I guess, with abortion. Like you're either are or like aren't for it. But yeah, no, I think the woman should have the say in it.
I'm also pro-choice. I don't know if I would ever personally get one, but just because I would never get one doesn't mean I should be able to say someone else can't have one.
So my opinion has kind of changed over the years. I used to be like really conservative about it. But after like being in relationships with women, getting to know women, I think like, I don't know. It's a really tough subject. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really feel comfortable answering this question in general, but yeah.
But you think that they should be equal in all aspects?
Yeah, I think so.
I am pro-choice, 100% all the way.
I believe in no abortion. I'm pro-life.
So when a woman decides to keep the baby, the man has to pay child support. But if a woman decides to do abortion, then the man has no say in that. Do you think that's okay? Or what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, I think it's fair. The woman can kind of do whatever she wants.
How is that?
With abortion, it's...
I think they should have equal say in that, or...
I think both parents to that baby should have some sort of say in what goes on, but ultimately, I'm not for abortion personally, but I mean, it's the woman's body. She kind of has more say than the man overall in the end, but I think the man, she should listen to the man too. I think that he was the one. He screwed up. I mean, if you have a baby on accident, you messed up. You could have done things to prevent that. So you have to deal with your consequences and take what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Take responsibility of what you did, of your actions. You know.
In my opinion, it's the girl's body. So whatever she wants to do, I think it's mainly her decision. I mean, that's just what I think.
Okay.
I also agree. It's the female's body, so she should have her own choice.
Yeah, same as both of them.
But you guys are saying that we should be equal. Okay, if you decide to keep it, then the man does not have to pay child support because he doesn't have a say in that.
I think that there should be, like, there should be more about, like, the whole child support thing. I don't think that automatically, like, oh, child support, like, you have to pay this much, this much, this much. But, like, because, I mean, the guy doesn't really have a say in that, but I think they should kind of both have a say in, like, that portion, but not the abortion part. Yeah.
I think the same thing. Yeah, I think the same thing.
That's hard. Yeah, that is hard. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you have...
I mean, my parents are separated, so my dad did have to pay child support, Which, I mean, I don't know, like you said, it's kind of hard, but there's also a lot of dads out there that the mom has the baby and they don't pay child support, they just up and leave. So it's the whole thing is just kind of a sticky situation and hard to answer.
I really think it's like a case-by-case basis too. I think that's like a...
So you think that whether a man decides to pay or not, he should not go to jail because of that? Do you think that's what should happen?
I think there should be like I think... Oh, that's...
That's hard, I know that.
Jail seems really extreme.
Maybe like fines, I think. Like maybe like a minor like punishment, but nothing like jail, I don't think.
Yeah, we're already like mass incarceration is already an issue for such low-level crimes anyways. I don't think we need to add another essentially low-level thing on top of that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think he should pay a little bit in child support, but if he doesn't, at least bare minimum, she should be able to keep the baby and work extra hard for it.
And you think that the man should not have any illegal claims when he decides not to pay child support?
I'm going to say no, just because, you know, there's so many things you could have done to like prevent the pregnancy anyway. It's like you should have just thought about that before you decided to have that thing yourself, so maybe just be safer next time, and that's basically like a consequence you get for it instead.
I kind of feel like just it's still not at the men's choice at the end of the day if they, you know, if they want their partner to have the child or not. That's up to the partner and all that. So I just feel like, you know, you just shouldn't have. You know what you did. You should just come with it's consequences that it's consequences that come with stuff. So yeah, for sure.
If the woman decides to keep the child, then a man should decide whether he wants to pay the child support or not.
Oh gosh.
That's equality in my opinion.
That is okay, and you do have a point. But still, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's a woman's body, so it should just be like a woman's choice to have that, you know, have the child.
I mean, that's understandable.
Right, that is. And then you said like, what is it like? Do I still see women and men as equals? I do see them as equals, but you
in
just
all aspects.
I don't know. It's just you saying that. It just kind of feels like I don't know. It's kind of just like I mean, some things we're equals on, but then again, I feel like some things we're probably not equal on.
Okay, I kind of don't understand, because then if a man doesn't have a job and he doesn't want to keep the baby, it's kind of not understandable for a man to pay the child support when he doesn't want to, but then when the woman still has all the say in that context.
Well, it's a two-sided party.
Yeah,
you know,
they the decision to have that baby, like
exactly.
That baby, so they could have.
And the woman's the one that has to carry that around for 9 months.
Okay.
So therefore, that's why I think it's the woman's choice with what she does with her body. But like, the man most likely has to pay child support. He contributed.
He did contribute halfway to that baby,
Right.
so
it can't all be on the woman.
Yeah.
So you think that they'll be equal, as in a sense, like when you guys say that men and women should be equal, you think that's equal?
I think the child support part goes definitely more in favor of the woman, but like I feel like that should they should try and make it more equal, but I don't really know how they would do that.
So I don't think it's equal for her to have him pay for child support if she has an abortion, but that goes for all families. If there's anybody who has an abortion, I don't think it's fair to make the other parent pay if one person decides or both of them.
So you think they should be equal in all aspects?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you for participating.
Thank
All right, man, thanks for your opinion.
Yep, appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Thanks for your opinion. Have a great day. All right, bro. What's your name? Where are you from? And what's your major?
My name's Blake Morsavello. I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and I'm a business major.
Cool. So today we have a question for you. Do you think men and women are or should be equal?
I think they are.
In all aspects?
In all aspects? I mean,
like if a woman decides to do do abortion,
Yeah.
the man, whether he decides to keep the baby or not, he doesn't have a say. He just have to pay child support whether he wants to or not. Do you
No, I
think
think
that's
should,
fair?
yeah, no, I think he should have a say.
They should have
Yeah,
a say.
yeah, it should be equal.
Do you go to church?
I do not, no.
Who is Jesus?
Who is Jesus? Well, he's a religious figure. He's, to Christian and Catholic people and to a bunch of other religions like, Judaism, and people call him different names. People have different, terms for him, different points, but everybody sees him in a great way, and if people choose to follow him, then hey, it's good motivation. If people choose to not to, then that's their own choice.
Who is Jesus in your life?
Well, in my life, my mother's always been a super religious person, and so in my life, he's always been kind of like this person that, like, if I ever really need something, like, obviously I just like to take care of myself, but like, obviously if I'm ever feeling at a very low point, then I go to him.
Do you go to church?
Not really. Don't really have much time when I'm here at college.
Do you think that it has a contribution to the growing of a child?
Yeah, it definitely does. I went to church all my life growing up, and so it definitely had a way to impact me in some sort of way. Even if I'm not insanely religious nowadays, when I was a kid, it definitely helped me develop like moral standards and how to think properly.
You Christian?
Yes.
Who is Jesus?
To me, he can be whatever you want him to be, I guess. To me personally, I think it's just, a good set of morals to abide by and, go by your everyday life with.
Do you believe that he died and rose?
I believe that Jesus existed, yes, but I'm not 100% sure on if he rose back. I mean, obviously I wasn't alive at that time, so, yeah.
Cool. One more question.
Yeah.
I promise this is the last question.
Okay.
Who is God in your life?
God in my life.
Do you believe in God?
So I don't necessarily believe in a God, but I don't necessarily disapprove of one either. I just kind of live my everyday life practicing the good from, what people preach and try and be the best person I can every day, so.
Do you believe in heaven or hell?
There might be an afterlife, there might not. I'm honestly pretty unsure about it, and, I'm still very young in my life, so maybe that'll change one day.
So when you die, where do you think you're going? Since you're unsure. Do you ever feel afraid of where you're going after death?
Of course, I think that's a natural thought to have in the human experience, and I think, me personally, like I said, I'm not really sure. My worst fear is that, nothing happens and it's just that forever, but hopefully that's not the case.
Oh my God. I do not know.
You've never heard of him?
I've heard of him. I'm just.
Okay.
They caught me off guard. He's a nice guy. He is. He's like the best dude to ever live. He's the best.
I agree. I don't know.
You don't know him?
No, I don't know him.
Who is God?
I don't know. Probably like Bo Burnham or something. I don't know.
Okay. Do you guys go to church?
Not consistently, no.
I do not know.
Do you guys support the LGBTQ community?
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody got their own choice.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna do
But
that.
do you guys believe in the Bible?
No.
I believe in God, but I don't believe in the Bible.
Yeah. I just
Not
believe there's a higher
particularly.
power. There's got to be a reason for all this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
But it's not God.
it could be a God, but it's just like I don't believe in the Bible word for word type of thing. I don't know. It's just how I am.
Do you guys know Jesus?
Yeah.
We needed that. All right.
I was not necessarily.
So what was the question again?
Do you guys know Jesus? Who's Jesus?
Oh, God's son, Jesus.
Any dude named Jesus, for real, I guess.
I mean,
I think it's God's son.
Do you guys go to church?
Not often. I used to.
I used to go to the Kingdom Hall whenever I was like really little, but since then, no, never.
Does it have an impact on children or on people in general? A church?
To be honest with you, like going through it myself, like I can't speak for all kids because like I'm not them, but
I just had a terrible time. I was the most boring thing. But the way they had it, like, they were really strict with it. They were all Jehovah Witnesses, and we were singing from the books and shit. Like, it was terrible. But
shit, mine was just to get us out the house on Sunday morning, so it was all right. But I didn't like that youth camp stuff. That was terrible.
I went to Catholic church until like 3rd grade, and then
You stopped going.
yeah, that shit just sucked.
And would you guys like to get close to God, or are you close to God?
I like to think that, like, when things line up, one, I'm not close to God. I don't really know what he's doing, but I like to think when things line up, it's God doing it. Like, I like to think that things happen for a reason.
yeah, same answer pretty much.
Yeah, I guess manifest your own destiny.
Do you guys go to church?
No.
Yes, I do.
Who is Jesus?
Like, I don't know, he's somebody in the Bible. I mean...
Oh, you've heard of him?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of him.
What about you?
I don't know, just someone.
Probably an expert.
Not. I don't know, just like a guy that I can turn to talk to and ask for help when needed, and I don't know, that sounds bad, but...
Okay, do you believe that he died and rose?
I mean, I used to go to church, but so I mean, I guess yeah, I would say that I believed that for a really long time. I think I still do.
No, I think he definitely died, and yeah, I think so. I agree.
I promise you this is the last question. Who is God?
I don't know, I would say just like somebody who kind of just watches and observes more than actually acts on our own, in our interests, or acts in any capacity towards humanity. I think he's just kind of stands back and kind of observes.
I think he kind of just guides us through life, just depending on how you look at it. Yeah.
One more question. Okay, one more actually. And the question is, pro-choice or pro-life?
And I wouldn't really say that I've done my research to have a good enough stance, but I don't know. I think I'm more like pro-life because there's options, there's ways around it.
I think I'd have to agree with that. I mean, I obviously haven't done my research on it either, but I think there are other options. Yeah, medically.
Do you believe that men and women are equal or should be equal?
Yeah.
Between men and women, who is stronger?
I feel like that's also a case-by-case basis. Sorry, I feel like that's
cool. Okay, the final question is, who is Jesus?
Honestly, I am the worst person to ask about that. I'm not religious in any aspect.
You've never heard of him?
I have heard of him, but I won't give the right answer.
Do you believe in heaven or hell?
I don't.
Where do you think you're going once you die?
I'm not sure, honestly. If I believe in anything, if I had to choose something, probably reincarnation. But I don't believe in necessarily heaven or hell.
Okay. Where do you think we came from as humans?
I don't believe that someone like created us.
I have 30 more seconds left. I'm counting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I don't think that like we were each created individually. I feel like definitely evolutionary I believe in more, but I don't know where like the start of the universe was.
Are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
I didn't get to see my dad a lot growing up because he is in the U.S. Army. My parents were divorced and my mom had custody of my brother, so we got into fights a lot about that.
Basically, it was like around the time when my grandpa passed, and my parents, like, it was a hard time for like my parents, my brother.
I lost someone really close to me from cancer, and it was just something that I had never experienced before, and it was really hard to deal with. I didn't really have anyone to talk to, and so I was just kind of numb, like going through the motions, didn't really know what I was doing or anything, just trying to...
There is a reason that you found this video, and that reason is because you need to hear this message. There are times that you go through problems in your life or challenges in your life, and you feel like you're the only one going through them. But today, I'm here to tell you that you are not the only one. And there are more people who have gone through what you have gone through, or even worse, but they were able to overcome that. So today, watch these videos carefully, and I'm sure that you'll get inspired and impacted and motivated by these videos. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn the notification on to be the first to view our videos. These videos are taking us a long time to make, so if you just put a like for the YouTube algorithm, it'll be very helpful. See you in the video. Alright, what's your name, where are you from, and
My name is Maureen, and I'm from kind of a little bit of all over, but like I was born in Belleville, Illinois, which is kind of near St. Louis, Missouri.
And have you ever been in a bad situation, and in that bad situation, how were you able to overcome that? What was the scenario like? How did you start? How did it
I have a lot of interpersonal problems with my mom. She's always kind of struggled with mental illness, and while like I don't fault her for that, and that's like I still love her, she just like we were having like a lot of arguments about things, and it kind of culminated because my parents are divorced, and I wanted I didn't get to see my dad a lot growing up because he is in the U.S. Army, and he got stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan for most of my childhood. And once we moved back to we used to live in Germany for 7 years, and when we moved back to the U.S., the Army told my dad they wouldn't deploy him anymore. And so I have a little brother who's 9 years younger than me, and I wanted my brother to be able to spend more time with my dad than I was able to. But my parents were divorced, and my mom had custody of my brother, so we got into fights a lot about that because my mom she was like understandably worried about my brother being with my dad all the time and being so far away from her because she really loves him and cares about him. But I know like I would have really liked to spend more time with my dad that I just didn't get to because it was impossible. And you know, we got into fights a lot because I told her, I was like, I don't want my little brother to like regret not being able to see our dad as much as he could have if he had been given if he had been given the choice. And because of those arguments, my mom kicked me out of the house before my senior year of high school. And I was really worried. I had the option to go live with my dad, but he lived several states away, and I would have lost like all my friends. I would have had to change like my college plans. But my paternal grandmother took me in, and I lived with her for a year. And it took a while. After I graduated high school, living with my grandma, and then started going here to Mizzou. And I had to think a lot about like if I wanted to repair my relationship with my mom, or if I wanted to, because I felt really like jilted in that situation, just because I was like, well, you're my mom, you shouldn't kick me out of the house just because you don't agree with me. But as I got older, like I saw, and my mom started seeing like getting therapy and getting help. But as I got older, I like started to see her side of things more, and like empathizing with her more. And we've grown a little bit closer and talk a little bit more. The thing I've really liked from just like getting older is like gaining more like life experience and being able to empathize with like the people in my life more. Because my mom had, like, just for instance, my mom had me when she was 18, and I didn't realize, like, or at least as a kid, I didn't realize like how young she was for a mom, or how much that like could have affected like her growing up, and like just coming into her own personality. But like I'm turning 25 in May, and if I had like followed the same like path my mom had, I would have a 7-year-old right now, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and that's just, I think of like how ready I am for, you know, something like children are a big responsibility, and I'm like, oof, I couldn't do it, not at 25. So it's helped, just the perspective of like age and my life experiences and meeting different people has helped with, you know, empathizing more with like the people I love. Yeah.
So, what would you tell people who are going through the same situations? What have you learned from that? What would you suggest that people in that situation?
I guess, you know, if you're, I just like for the instance of people having like interpersonal relationships with their parents, I would say, you know, try to understand their side of things, but your parents do have a lot of like control over things in your life when you're when you're younger than 18. So obviously, you know, you don't have as many choices as you would as an adult. And so I completely understand people who don't, like they cut off contact with their parents or like don't have a great relationship with their parents, because I'm still working on mine. But, you know, I would say just like try to keep an open mind if you can, so you don't like, if it's safe for you to have a relationship with like, you know, your family like that, then don't just throw it away if you don't have to, because it can, you know, I obviously have a younger sister and a younger brother, and like cutting my mom off completely would mean not being able to see them. And like I worry about their well-being, of course, and their safety. So that's one big reason why I like started to reconnect with my mom, is just so I could see my sister and my brother more and make sure that they're like, as they're getting, because my sister's an adult now, just checking in with them and making sure that they're doing okay. Yeah.
Tell us a story of a time when you were in a bad situation, and how you got out of it.
Okay. Well, this was a story from sophomore year. So basically, it was like around the time when my grandpa passed, and my parents, like it was a hard time for like my parents, my brothers, and everybody. And so basically, my grades started to slip. And I remember it was, I think it was American history. I started getting like low D's on my test, like, and my average in the class was like turned out to be like a D at the end of the year. And so this was basically like inexcusable for me, because I'm Nigerian, so we're basically supposed to like good grades, like do well in school, like that's what we focus on a lot. But the way I went about it, like I was talking to my counselor and stuff. She was telling me how I can still put in the work, dedicate all the work that I do to my grandpa. So that's what I've been doing right now. I've been dedicating all my work to my grandpa. And over the summer, sophomore year, I decided I'll take summer classes to help boost my grade for the class I was doing bad in. And I ended with the A, because I put in all the work and dedicated it all to my grandpa. And yeah, it was basically, I did it all with the help of my counselor.
My name's Maddie. I'm from St. Genevieve, Missouri. It's a really small town about an hour south of St. Louis. And I'm majoring in finance.
Cool. Is there a time in your life where you were in a bad situation, and at that time, what were you thinking and how were you able to overcome that?
Yeah. When I was in high school, I lost someone really close to me from cancer, and it was just something that I had never experienced before, and it was really hard to deal with. I didn't really have anyone to talk to, and so I was just kind of numb, like going through the motions, didn't really know what I was doing or anything, just trying to forget about it, substitute other things to try and fill that void, which I never could. And then coming to college, one of the first days I moved in, I met a couple girls who were older than me who just had like this joy to them that I saw that I was missing in my life, and I just knew that they had something that I didn't. And so started hanging out with them, found out that they went to a campus ministry, and so I started going there and just found a relationship with Christ that I had never experienced before. I had grown up all my life thinking that I had one with him, and then they just showed me how to read the Bible for myself, and just put my trust completely in Christ, and that's what really helped me process what I was going through and helped me find my way out of that dark tunnel.
Is there another scenario that if you were in the same kind of situation, and how were you able to overcome that? Maybe you were in depression, you were in fear, or academic-wise, you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I guess a couple months ago, I was hanging out with some friends and just made some bad choices that I knew I just didn't agree with. They weren't normally me. I just kind of acted that way, and so I was really, really upset with that. And yeah, I just didn't know. That wasn't me, and I wasn't okay with that. And I just got really upset and like dark about it and depressed. I was just ashamed of what I had done. And so I talked to a friend, and yeah, that was really who helped me through it. Is we talked about it and talked about it like with our religion and everything, and that's how she just helped me through it in a way that I was able to overcome it and depend on her and realize that I'm okay.
Is there any advice that Is there any advice that you can give your fellow students or your fellow people of how they need to react to situation in life?
Yeah.
Or what you have learned in your life?
I'd just say find people who really care about you and that are on the right paths themselves, that they have more life experience than you do, and that can really push you to be a better person, and also but like love you well and know what's best for you, and just encourage you to do that, because those are the people that helped me get through the darkest times.